The Great Hall in the Tower of London is silent and frightening. It's 15th May, 1536. Sunlight comes through the tall windows, lighting up dust floating in the air. But inside, everything feels cold and dark. On a quickly built throne sits the Duke of Norfolk. He's the Queen's own uncle, but he's in charge of this fake trial. In front of him, surrounded by 26 unfriendly male nobles, sits a woman, alone. She is Anne Boleyn, Queen of England, and she's fighting to stay alive. The charges against her are completely made up, a ridiculous story of treason, adultery with 5 men, including her own brother, plotting to kill the king and making fun of his poetry. The evidence is built on lies, tortured confessions from a court musician, and whispers from her enemies. For weeks, Thomas Cromwell has worked in the shadows, building a case that isn't meant to prove anything. It's just meant to give a flimsy legal excuse for a decision that's already been made. Everyone in this room knows how this is supposed to end. They're here to condemn a queen so their king can marry his new love, the quiet, pale Jane Seymour. Anne stands. Her face is white, but her eyes burn with cold fire. She picks apart the prosecution's case with the same sharp intelligence that once fascinated the king. She answers every charge and refutes every lie. Her composure is absolute. Her dignity is a silent insult to the pack of wolves before her. The lords on the jury look at each other, at the floor, at the cold stone walls, anywhere but at her. They know what they must do. Their king's will isn't a request. It's a command backed by the terrifying power of the executioner's axe. The Duke of Norfolk calls the foreman of the jury to deliver the verdict. A heavy, final silence falls. The foreman rises, his face like a mask of grim duty. He opens his mouth to speak the word that will seal the Queen's fate. The word, guilty. But history is a story of moments, of conscience, courage, and the unpredictable currents of the human heart. Our world was built on the scaffold that was being prepared for this queen. So, let us ask the question that shatters a conspiracy and unleashes a political explosion. What if in that moment of unbearable pressure, the jury's nerve broke? What if they chose law over fear? What if the foreman spoke a different word? What if Anne Boleyn was found innocent? The word hangs in the air, a stunning, impossible sound. Not guilty. For a heartbeat, there's only confusion. Then a wave of shock ripples through the hall. Gasps, stunned mutterings. The Duke of Norfolk's face turns blotchy red with fury. This isn't just a verdict. It's an act of rebellion. A jury of the highest nobles in the realm has publicly, in front of the entire court, rejected the king's case. They've looked at the evidence presented by his chief minister and declared it to be lies. Anne Boleyn doesn't weep. She doesn't faint. She simply bows her head slightly, a queen accepting what she's owed. The trial is over. The conspiracy has collapsed. She is, by the law of the land, the innocent and rightful Queen of England. And in that moment, the most dangerous and unpredictable chapter of the Tudor dynasty begins. The news hits the king like a physical blow. Henry VIII, waiting at a nearby palace for the confirmation he craved, is thrown into a volcanic rage. He isn't just a king who's been defied, he's a man who's been publicly humiliated. He declared his wife a traitorous adulteress, and the entire nobility has effectively called him a liar. His path to Jane Seymour isn't just blocked, it's been blown up in his face. His first target is Thomas Cromwell, the brilliant, ruthless minister, the man who had solved the king's great matter and managed the break with Rome, has failed him. And in the court of Henry VIII, failure on this scale is a death sentence.
Cromwell, the architect of the plot, now becomes its primary victim. He's arrested and charged with treason for having misled the king and slandered the queen. He's the perfect scapegoat. His fall is swift and brutal. Within weeks, the man who orchestrated Anne's downfall lays his own head on the block, a victim of his own intricate and cruel machinery. The second casualty is Jane Seymour. Her moment in the sun is over. She's the woman for whom the king risked this catastrophic humiliation. To keep her at court would be an insult to the vindicated queen. The Seymours are banished in disgrace. Their quiet ambition is now a dangerous stain. She's married off to a minor country knight and sent into provincial obscurity. Her dreams of a crown turn to dust. And then comes the hardest problem of all: what to do with Anne? Imagine the scene. Queen Anne Boleyn, a woman her husband just tried to have beheaded for incest and treason, returns to court. She isn't a pardoned woman, she's a vindicated one. She isn't weak, she's untouchable. She's a living, breathing symbol of the king's failure and his tyranny. The marriage is a waking nightmare. It's a union of ghosts held together by legal chains, but poisoned by attempted murder. They are king and queen, husband and wife. They must dine together, attend mass together, appear at state functions together. But the love, the passion that had remade a kingdom is now a cold, dead thing, replaced by a mixture of hatred, fear, and resentment. The court is paralyzed. Every faction, every courtier must now navigate this terrifying new reality. To show favor to the queen is to risk the king's wrath. To show favor to the king is to risk the vengeance of a queen who has proven herself a master survivor. The whispers and sidelong glances in the corridors of power become a language of pure terror. But Anne isn't the same woman she was before the trial. The ordeal has forged her. She's no longer just a sharp-tongued queen. She's a political predator who has looked into the eyes of her enemies and won. And now she wants revenge. Her first target is the conservative faction, the Catholic lords who had rejoiced at her fall. With Cromwell gone, Anne and her great ally, Archbishop Thomas Cranmer, now have a free hand. The English Reformation, which had been a tool for the king's divorce, now becomes Anne's personal crusade. She sees the old faith as the faith of her enemies. The dissolution of the monasteries speeds up, but now with a new purpose. The immense wealth seized from the church is used to reward her allies and create a new class of Boleyn lords, men whose fortunes are tied directly to the success of the new Protestant order. The reforms become more radical. The English Bible that she championed isn't just encouraged, it's required. The doctrine of the new Church of England is pushed further away from Rome, becoming more aligned with the hardline Protestantism of the continent. She isn't just securing her faith, she's building a fortress of religious radicalism to protect herself from her own husband. And what of the king? He's trapped in a prison of his own making. He's still the king. His power is immense, but he's shackled to a wife he hates, a wife who now wields enormous moral and political authority. And the one thing he needs, the one thing that started this entire catastrophe, is a son. He has a legitimate daughter, Elizabeth, but he needs an heir. And the only woman who can give him one is the woman he tried to kill. This is the strangest, most psychologically torturous chapter of their story. The king, for the good of the realm, must go to his queen's bed. He must perform his royal duty with a woman he believes is his enemy, a woman who looks at him with the eyes of a survivor. It's a marriage of pure, cold political necessity. Let us imagine that in the tense, poisoned atmosphere of this renewed marriage, Anne conceives again. The court, the kingdom, the whole of Christendom holds its breath. Is it the son that will finally heal the rift, or the daughter that will break the king's mind? In 1537, Anne gives birth, but it's another girl. For Henry, this is the final, terrible judgment of God. He's a man cursed, locked in a fruitless marriage, his dynasty hanging by the thread of his own mortality. His paranoia deepens. His famous temper, now with no outlet, turns his court into a place of suffocating fear. He cannot divorce Anne. On what grounds? Her virtue has been publicly proven. He cannot execute her. Any new plot would be seen for what it is, the desperate act of a tyrant. He begins to see Boleyn conspiracies everywhere. His health declines. The ulcer on his leg festers, a physical manifestation of the poison in his marriage.
The years pass. The king grows old, obese, and ever more tyrannical. But Anne thrives. She's a master of the political game. She builds her power base, cultivates her allies, and oversees the education of her two brilliant daughters, the heir Elizabeth and the spare, the younger princess. She ensures they're raised as fierce, intelligent, and uncompromisingly Protestant women. In 1547, King Henry VIII dies, a bitter, furious, disappointed man, and the crown passes to his eldest legitimate child, not to his sickly boy, not to a Catholic zealot, but to his daughter, a young woman of 13, Queen Elizabeth I. But this isn't the Elizabeth of our history. This isn't the orphan, the illegitimate child, the survivor who spent her youth in the shadow of the tower. This is a princess who has grown up at the very center of power. Her mother, the formidable Anne Boleyn, becomes Queen Regent. Imagine this England ruled by a regency council led by Dowager Queen Anne. The woman who survived the axe now wields the scepter. The Protestant Reformation, which Anne had championed out of vengeance and faith, is now the unshakable foundation of the state. There's no Catholic restoration under Mary. There's no Edwardian crisis. The reign of Bloody Mary is a historical impossibility. The nearly 300 Protestant martyrs who were burned at the stake in our timeline live out their lives. Under her mother's guidance, Elizabeth grows into a different kind of queen. She's just as intelligent, but she isn't the cautious, pragmatic virgin queen who had to balance the warring factions of her realm. She's the undisputed head of a firmly Protestant state, raised by a mother who taught her that power is a weapon to be used, not a prize to be hoarded. Perhaps she marries a German Protestant prince, forging a great European Protestant alliance, and has children, securing a Boleyn Tudor dynasty for centuries. Our world wasn't shaped by Anne's vindication. It was shaped by her martyrdom. Her death created the chaos that forged her daughter into the legendary monarch she became. The story of Elizabeth I is the story of a survivor. It's a story of compromise, of balance, of navigating a kingdom torn apart by the religious furies her father had unleashed. By being found innocent, Anne saves herself and takes her revenge. She creates a stable, powerful, and radically Protestant England. But in doing so, she erases the very conditions that created her magnificent daughter. She gives England a smoother history, but perhaps a less glorious one. She gives her daughter a safer life, but robs her of the crucible that made her great. The ghost of that impossible verdict, not guilty, haunts our history, a silent testament to a world that chose a martyr over a survivor, and in doing so, created a legend. History is filled with turning points like this one, moments where the world could have changed forever. If you love exploring the unwritten chapters of the past, please like this video and subscribe.